I still have the opportunity to do more is really, really exciting, I have to say, and keeps me really motivated, on top of playing against this new generation of players coming up, a generation that's at the top at the moment, that I can still hang with them, have joy playing their playing styles, and seeing how the game has evolved as well in the last 10-15 years. It's a big challenge, you know, adjusting my game to that as well. I think it's most important, in particular in my situation, to focus the most on myself. To have a clear game plan, what am I going to try to do? If then things don't go well, you have to have a plan B or C of what else you could be trying.
Well, thank you for the time you gave us. It's a little weird. Until yesterday we played on court, and now me asking you questions. So the first one is going to be actually the one that I prepared really carefully. Okay. So how was it to play me?
Oh, I was. We had a few tough ones in the beginning. And
no, but technically.
Oh, really, you mean a lot like that?
What was your tactic when you had to play me? So what was the idea? Now you can tell me.
Now I can tell you. What was it? I mean, I guess because you were one of the bigger guys on tour with a big serve, and movement and clearly is an issue, you try to make the big guy move. You know, that's what you try to do. You try to get the returns back into play. But at the end of the day, you focus on your own serve first, because you don't want to make a mistake there, because that could cost you the match. Maybe go through the forehand a little bit more, because you were maybe more susceptible on the forehand side, I thought, because you were actually good with the forehand from the backhand corner. You had a good backhand, clearly, you know, with variation, with your slice. And I thought you always played very clever. You played the moments well, you know, so when it was a break point or beginning of the games, or in the right moments, you played the right way. You knew when to play aggressive and when to keep the ball in play, and that was
when you were slicing and keeping the ball low, like especially on the turns, that was on purpose, or you had to chip?
I almost had to chip, to be quite honest. I mean, I can of course come over it, but I felt like if I come over too much, I might give you too many aces. So I prefer to just get the ball back and then try with my defense, work my way into the points.
Okay, nice. Good to know.
Good to know, yeah.
It's just an arm to the gap, not so over home to show it to drop it in the ball. It's just an arm to the gap.
Generally, when you prepare matches, I mean, how much percentage-wise is your game? So let's say, or how much do you adapt actually to the opponents?
Well, that's the thing, you constantly fight. I think it's most important, in particular in my situation, to focus the most on myself. To have a clear game plan, what am I going to try to do? If then things don't go well, you have to have a plan B or C of what else you could be trying. And I think it's very important to be aware of the opponent's strengths and weaknesses, like I told you with you, for instance. Yeah. But I do believe, first up, you have to know exactly what you want to do. And sometimes you get caught up in too much tactics, too much philosophical talk before the match, that you actually forget how to play yourself.
So you have like a base, let's say 70%, whatever, and then you...
I would think so. I would think it should be at least 70% focus on your own game, yes.
Okay. Is there anything particular that in this moment you're working on? Or it's basically just getting back in shape and trying to
Well, I mean, first it was important to get back in shape, you know, after the back problems I've had in Indian Wells. Then, you know, adapting to clay courts, that's now my biggest switch. So now I think I'm facing a situation where I don't want to play too much like a clay court. My best game is aggressive with some variation, and that's what I'm working on, making sure I get good rhythm. I struggled in Madrid.
So nothing new, I mean, it's just...
Nothing new, but I'd like to play aggressive, you know, after all, not just wait for the opponent's mistake.
Okay. When you prepare the match, how much time before the match you start your routine? Like how much time you're taking to start thinking about the match that you're going to play on? Right. Let's say you play at 2 o'clock. So do you start thinking about it like half hour, 1 hour, 3 hours, 5 hours, maybe even the day before?
Yeah, maybe the day before or the moment you know which opponent you're going to play against, you know. That helps. Then you already start thinking a little bit, you know, yourself. But it's really the day of the match that usually I engage my mind into it, and I speak to my coaches then, usually probably an hour before the match, and we talk about tactics, we talk about how we want to do it. I usually arrive 3 hours before at the court, then warm up, take a shower, eat, talk about the match, tape up my ankles, you know, stretch, warm up, get ready, and then play the match.
What is the most comfortable place, let's say, that you played? I mean, you say maybe Santa Clara, Wimbledon, like the place where you say that here I feel the best of all courts or places. Maybe it's not, you know, match court, maybe it's a practice court.
No, it's got to be a match court. A practice court you never feel comfortable because
it's small.
It's strange, you know, and practice courts change the whole time. But for me, probably Wimbledon Centre Court has a special meaning because of obvious reasons, but as well it creates a lot of pressure, so you're never quite relaxed maybe on that centre court unless you are winning 2 sets to love and a break, right?
You never retired during the match.
Right.
So this is one of the incredible records that I think. Which match was the one closest for you to say, okay, I have to give up? I mean, you played many injured. I mean, we know that.
Right.
But the one that you said I barely, you know, finished it.
I don't know if I've actually had a match where I was really, really considering to retire, to be honest, because I feel like when I've never injured myself usually during a match. Very often I've went into a match not feeling great, either sick or you know, carrying an injury, maybe the ankle or you know, the knee and so forth. It's like the 2005 World Tour finals against Albania. I had twisted my ankle 2-3 weeks before, and I knew I was limited with it, but I led 2 sets to love, and then Albanian came back, and at the end he was up 4-1 in the 5th, double break point. No, he was up at the end in the 5th. And then I came back, but there I was like, I mean, why am I still playing? My ankle's not good. But what happened, all of a sudden I served for the match at 6-5, 30 love. I still ended up losing the match, but it might go through your mind, but at the end of the day I never gave up. Sickness can be more dodgy for me. You know, I had a sunstroke one time against Davydenko in Miami after winning Indian Wells, and that one really took a lot out of me. But again, I came through the match. All of a sudden, next day I felt a little bit better, and you know, you can play better too. So it depends on the situation. But I never really said, thinking to myself,
maybe I should.
I remember the juniors one time I gave up and I was crying and asking my coach, I can't play anymore. I have so much pain in my back. I have to stop. I think he's like, stop, it's okay, you know.
It's fine.
And that was the one time I gave up, I remember.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
That was awesome. Thank you very much. Fantastic. We have to get
don't hang around.
Right.
Would you step a little bit closer, please? Perfect, thank you, sir.
Of all the records that you have, is there the one particular that you are trying to improve? Or it's just the whole package?
I think it's the global idea of wanting to achieve more. Everything I have achieved already, nobody can take away. So I want to add to that, and I think, you know, having broken or equaled so many great records, that I still have the opportunity to do more is really, really exciting. I have to say, it keeps me really motivated. On top of playing against this new generation of players coming up, the generation that's at the top at the moment, that I can still hang with them and, you know,
slow them down,
or have joy playing their playing styles and seeing how the game has evolved as well in the last 10-15 years. It's a big challenge, you know, adjusting my game to that as well.
But do you have a feeling like, let's say, Rafa or Novak, who is bigger threat to some of your records, maybe slams or number one?
Naturally, I think it's Rafa, because he's closer to everything, and he's as long as he's going to keep on playing, I always see him winning a lot of matches, winning a lot of titles, because he's that good. Novak obviously clearly puts himself in a position now where he can create, you know, great and many things. It depends clearly in the next 5 years how many younger guys are going to come through and push people out of the game as well.
Talk a little bit about Wimbledon.
Sure.
Personally, for you, played 1999 was the first one.
Yes.
You played. So let's say last 13 years you played. How has it changed?
Well, it's changed a lot in my mind. I used to
fast back then.
I used to be fast back then. I used to watch aggressive serve and volley tennis on TV. Becker, Sampras, you know, Edberg. For me, that was grass court tennis. When I came on tour, that's the kind of guys I used to play still in '99 and 2000. And then I realized how the game slowed down. There was more baselines in the game. I think in 2000 I played against Kafelnikov, but he was still serving volleying on the first serve, you know, where today probably wouldn't serve volley anymore. I've just seen improvements in racket technology, strings, balls, and then also I think the surface at Wimbledon, and all that created a new generation of players that said, I'd rather hit a passing shot than a volley, you know, and I think that's changed the game. I think the grass is too perfect today. Before, the grass was so wobbly that the balls would bounce the wrong way, so it was really hard to hit a good passing shot. And I think through these changes, we've seen a, you know, a different playing style today on the grass.
Ever considered changing the racket?
Yes, absolutely. I've been in close contact always with Wilson and
to make
trying
actually
rackets.
that racket a little different.
Maybe that, or totally changing,
Totally
and just listening to the new technology they have, because I feel it's a wrong philosophy just to say, my thing's the best, there's nothing better, and that's the only thing that can work. And I've actually was really close playing with a different racket, just one tournament to see. At the end of the year, in the exhibitions in South America, I played with a different string just to see how that was going to react. So I'm constantly testing and trying out. Yeah.
On grass, do you think today it's important, the serve is more important on return?
Well, I think it's still got to be the serve, because that's what you control. The return you don't control that much.
But you tend to see like the big serves actually struggling, because if you, I always felt like on grass I struggled personally because my returns were not good enough for grass.
Right.
You know, I felt like if you go with the serve, you still can't make more points on grass than other surfaces with the serve, but in the other hand, for me, it was more difficult to return.
Yeah.
So how does the actually return game feels for you on grass, you know, in comparison to the other surfaces?
It's different, you know. Clearly, you have a little bit less say,
Yeah.
and it's more complicated, and in the process, more frustrating, like you say.
Yeah.
Especially then for a guy who doesn't return that well. But for some reason, I feel like I return as good on grass than I return on clay. I don't know if the surface helps my returning style on the grass. So for me, actually, the serve is very important. Is know that I know I can hold my service games easier. I put less pressure on my service games, and then on the return game, I'm happy to take chances, take it early, chip and charge, you know, and go after it. For me, it's pretty simple on grass, and so it's been very natural.
Yeah.
So yeah,
now
I'd still go with the serve.
with the roof on, do you feel the difference? Like how different it is actually when the roof is closed and when it's open?
It's clearly different. It's something
Big change.
It's a big change in a way that we have not seen Wimbledon that way. And that makes it unique in many ways, that everybody now who plays under the roof feels they're part of something special, because it didn't happen before. And you have to be lucky to play on center court at Wimbledon, and you have to be lucky that it rains and they shut the roof and they're not going to wait and then put you back on when it's nice again. So it feels like it's something unique to be part of an indoor match at Wimbledon, number one. Then the playing style, it feels very similar to when it's outdoors, but clearly you have no more wind. There's a bit of an echo when you hit the ball, and the atmosphere changes just slightly. But overall, I feel like you can play the same way.
You've been saying for forever now that you're going to be playing for 2-3 more years. There is this change that there is going to be an extra week between Paris and Wimbledon. Do you think that's going to change your preparation for Wimbledon?
I think
because now in the past you played Halle more times yes than no.
Yes.
I mean, I think this maybe will give you more, I mean, to be more consistent on playing that week, or have you ever thought about it?
Well, I think all the players are going to be better prepared. So I think it's better for the game. I know they're going to lose a week later on in the hard court season, but honestly, let's be realistic and open. I think it's a good change. You know, it's good for the people who want to recover after a long clay court season, because many take the opportunity to play a lot on clay as well. So maybe they want to take a week off. For those who think grass is my service, I want to play as much as I can, they get an extra week. And for those who do a bit of both, they can prepare better for Wimbledon and maybe improve in general throughout their career more on grass, because 1 week more on grass is going to make you a better player as well.
Yes.
So I think it's a good change, and who knows, maybe in the future I'll play 2 tournaments leading into Wimbledon, which could be something to consider as well for me.
Okay. Well, that's it. Do you have any questions for me?
For you, how is it now on the other side? On the other side, you'll always be a tennis player, but
yes.
how does it feel in the?
It's body-wise. Body-wise is different.
Okay.
Body-wise, I'm having difficulties to push myself to
the gym.
To the gym.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
To do it physically. What do you think after how you gonna?
I think you need. I think you probably need a challenge. It's like, okay, I'm gonna run a marathon in 6 months, and then you build up for something like that. Or I'm gonna play a seniors tournament. Let me get somewhat ready for it. That's how probably you need a challenge. Or you have a weekly routine. Say every Monday I'm playing soccer with my friends, you know. Or for me to go just to the gym, just to work out,
it's gonna be rough.
Gonna be rough, like for you, yes.
I know. Okay. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Good luck.
I enjoyed it.
Here and in the future. And we, in Sky Italy, there is a lot of people actually a huge fan of yours. We still want to see you winning big ones. So
I appreciate
good
it.
luck and thanks for your time.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Zilano. Well done. Sure, yeah, no problem.
Me, oh my, you thought you had something strong. Me, oh my, it turned out that you were wrong. Me, oh my, your luck seems to be no more. Fighting to